Hey everybody, this is Heidelin with Austin Entertainment Management, and with me I have swear words. Hey Mike, what's going on?
What's up, guys?
So this time we're way more with it with our introduction to our stream. We're improving already. This is awesome. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. Our topic today is what limits you? Because you can do more than you think you can. Isn't that right, Mike?
Absolutely. And you may not realize the things that are limiting you, even though it's in plain sight.
Exactly. They're kind of hidden. So we're going to talk more about that. But first, I want to talk about some of the events that we have going on first. And so the first thing, I'm going to start with the thing I'm most excited about this week. Super excited about this. Oh my goodness. So on Saturday is the Global Vision Conference, and it's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I'm road tripping down there. I've got Sarah Pace, which is one of the photographers that works with our group. And I've got Joanna Tress, who is one of the musicians that's in our mastermind, road tripping down there with me. And this is the first time that I've met Joanna in person. We've known each other virtually for probably about a year, but this is the first time we're going to see each other in person. So I'm really super excited about that. And then, yeah, right? I mean, Mike, you and I even met virtually for a while before we finally met at my Halloween party. So yeah, pretty cool. So the Global Vision Conference is a huge gathering of visionaries that are sharing their vision. So it's the ability to be able to think bigger. And if you're already like dreaming big of what you want to do with your music, when you surround yourself with other visionaries like this, it really opens your mind to what, oh my goodness, more you can do. So this is totally related to our topic today about what limits you, because this is one way that you can really quickly get past some of those limits. Because once you start seeing some of the really cool things that people are imagining and then creating and making happen, it's totally awesome. And so here's the cool thing that I found out yesterday. I know a lot of you might be watching this and you don't have the ability to road trip down to Fort Lauderdale on Saturday, and so you're going to miss this event. But the cool part is they are going to be live streaming this event. So if you're hearing this right now and you want to tap into some of this inspirational, visionary energy, you can go to their website and get yourself a ticket. And the website is globalvisionconference.com. And here we go. Get that on the screen for you. The convention starts at 10 a.m. It goes until 5 p.m. And with your ticket, you'll have access to the live stream. And this is the best part. And Mike, you know what else you get?
Well,
You get to feed hungry children, because all of the money from the tickets is going to JFC for You, which feeds hungry children. And since they're partnered with Johnny Vision, whose vision is that every child should have access to enjoy popcorn and a movie. So all of that happens too. It's really cool. You'll see some pictures of some happy children eating popcorn when you go to the globalvisionconference.com website. So know that your ticket is contributing to that. And so that's really cool. So That's exciting, right, Mike?
Yeah, that's like an amazing cause, and to be able to help impact the world, like kids are the future. So helping in any way that we can help the kids whatsoever, like that's an amazing thing Johnny's doing.
And yesterday at the Laws of Life Summit, which you guys, if you're available at 11 a.m. to 12:30, and even if you're a little late or you got to leave a little, stop by the Laws of Life Summit. Uh, a lot of the people that are going to be at the conference, they come to this meeting week after week. And Camille is the one that started JFC for You. And yesterday she was talking about the importance of making sure that your body is nourished first. Because without that, you're thinking from survival mode. Like, how am I going to survive? Like, how am I going to feed my body? And it's very hard to dream and dream big from that kind of space. So the first step is to make sure that these children have nourishment for their bodies and that they're physically taken care of first. And when that happens, it just kind of unlocks this new possibility for them.
Mm-hmm.
And tying back into our topic today, this is for everybody. If there are pieces of your life that are out of balance and all kinds of crazy, if your finances are not great and you don't know how to manage money, if you are not eating the right things or drinking enough water, if you're not taking care of your own health, like these things are going to hold you back from being able to think of the bigger things that you are capable of doing.
Completely.
So yes, check that out. That's the Global Vision Conference. That's this Saturday. I really hope you can either join us in person. That would be super cool. Or if not, the streaming option is available. So check that out. Okay. So next event I want to talk about happens on Thursdays. I'm going backwards in the week. So Thursdays at 11 a.m. is the Laws of Empowering Entrepreneurs, which is hosted by Blanca and Natan. Both of them really awesome, great friends of mine. And they usually have a guest speaker come on and have a really just motivating, inspiring conversation. You get a different viewpoint than maybe what you were seeing the world before. And they've had some really cool speakers on there, from like a coach that works with entertainers and athletes and kind of getting some perspective from a coach of people that we just see. They seem like flawless and perfect. You know, they've got this like, oh, how could I ever be them? So to kind of get some perspective from her about how they also have limiting thoughts a lot of times that sabotage their results. It was pretty cool perspective. So that's another cool thing for you to check out. And it's recorded like this is. So if you can't make it at that 11 o'clock time, you can go back and you can see the replay. Much like the Tuesday events, the Laws of Life Summit, you can also go back and watch the replays of that. And whenever I attend, I share it as it's going on. So you can just go to our Facebook page and tune into that. And you can feel free to go to our events page. You see scrolling on the bottom of our video there. Go to howisthebomb.com/events, and you can come into that Zoom meeting. You can meet these people. You can talk to them. You can go into a breakout room with them. You can share what you're doing. You never know what you're working on, how it might fit into someone else's vision. And that's what's cool about networking. Whew. Mike, I feel like I've been talking a lot.
No, you're doing a great job.
How do you feel about these online events that are free?
Oh, they're amazing. I mean, there's so much to take advantage of because they are free, and it's no like pressure, no crazy commitment. You don't have to drive somewhere or do anything crazy. It could be in the comfort of your home, even if you're on the toilet, like whatever you got to do, like you can access these. You don't have to be seen if you're still not comfortable or whatever, but you can get some really good information and you can get it for free. So literally nothing to lose. If you have a smartphone or a computer, nothing to lose.
And that's another really good point. If you haven't been like on a Zoom meeting, or if you haven't really like commented while you're watching a live stream before, it's like leveling up to the next step. It might feel like outside of your comfort zone, but just do it a couple times and you're going to feel more comfortable with what you're doing.
Yep.
Speaking from experience, you can go back and watch my videos from what I started doing last year. Oh my goodness, I was so nervous every single time I had to do a video. People are like, "Oh, you're so outgoing." I'm like, "No, I'm introverted and I'd be a hermit."
I know the feeling.
So this is stuff that I had to learn and get better at. Much like learning an instrument. Like when you first start playing guitar, you're not usually really good at it. It takes like hours and hours of consistent practice and going back to it. And that is what makes you good at playing guitar. It doesn't happen at the beginning. So the same thing with with networking. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first. You're not really going to feel sure, like maybe even why you're there at first, but give it a chance, be open-minded about it, and listen to what's going on around you and take that in. And I don't know, these particular meetings, every time I leave with something of value that keeps me going on to the next week. So I hope you guys tap into this stuff. And like I said, you can find out about all these events on our website, hellsthebomb.com/events. Okay, so there are more events that we have to talk about. I just want to like make sure that you guys have this stuff on your calendar because some of this stuff is in person. So for Jacksonville people right now, Jacksonville, Florida, there is a music meetup every month on the last Sunday of the month. It changes. It's different locations around town. Makes it a little easier for, some of the musicians out at the beach to be able to come. Some of the people out in Murray Hill, that's where Pine Studios is, who hosts this event. Makes it easier for people in Mandarin to come to the event, so they move it around. And they haven't announced where the event's going to be on the 29th yet, which I should switch this to this one. Here we go, everybody. So the next music meetup in Jacksonville, Florida is January 29th at 6 p.m. And you can go to the Music Meetup Jax Instagram, and they will be posting where we are going to be meeting this month. So check that out. And then the next thing I've got going on is from our very own Joanna. And she's doing a 5-dimensional performing arts workshop February 3rd. It's at 7 p.m. Now, this is virtual, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can come and participate. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. And I have just gotten this onto our Facebook events, so you can find that there on our Facebook page, Hell is the Bomb/events, and you can sign up for her event there. I'll be talking more about that. I'll get that on our website too. And then last but not least, I have a very special speaker coming up that is going to be speaking to us at the Wilder Business Success Office. Her name is Sarah Im. She's an author of How I Survived the Killing Fields. She is a survivor of a concentration camp. She's got just an amazing story. And she now is a public speaker going around and telling that story. She's a TEDx speaker. And so she's coming up to do a couple speaking events here in Jacksonville that second week in February. So if you're interested, I'll be sharing some of those other places where she's going to be telling her story. But for our event on February 8th, it's going to be a little bit more intimate, and it's going to be for people that are promoting themselves and sharing their story. So the topic of this is speaking as a marketing tool. So for any of you musicians out there that know that they want to promote their music, they want people to hear what they've created, they want people to come to their shows, one of the best ways to do that is to directly speak to your audience. So social media allows us to do these videos and directly speak to our audience. And this is one way that they can get to know us and like us and want to hang out with us and want to know more about the music that we're creating. But sometimes we tell ourselves things like, because of my life circumstances, why would anyone want to listen to my story? Or I just play music. Like I don't have anything to talk about. But that's a limiting belief. Wouldn't you agree, Mike?
Absolutely.
Have you ever felt that way before?
I would say that I've had plenty of situations in which I realized I was limiting myself. Not only in like speaking, but like a lot of like social situations and stuff like that. It's easy to uh feel like, oh well, I don't know anybody, or is what I'm saying going to be accepted? Am I going to be seen as a weirdo, an outcast? And that makes it difficult to express yourself and be vulnerable. But I feel like being vulnerable is the most important thing that we can do, no matter how difficult it is, because it breeds growth. So if you allow yourself to be vulnerable and do these things, then you can try, experience new things. But there's a lot that goes into that because of the limiting factors. So for me, I do it a lot. And like I said before, it's some of those things that you may not notice. It could be something you might just resort back to, like a comfort, and not even realize that like you're limiting yourself. So like for me, it's like sometimes I'd rather stay at home than go outside and do things. Sometimes I'm just like, all right, well, I don't have too much time to go and explore and do stuff that I may want to do or figure out something to do. So I'll just stay at home today. I'll just watch some TV or whatever. But then like I'm not gonna grow in that way. But if I do something that makes me uncomfortable, I go out there and I find something to do. I may not, but at least I made the attempt, and I changed something out of what I was normally doing. So consistently I fall into those limiting factors, but it's an everyday battle to see where you're at and fight against that.
Cool. So when we talk about getting over the fear of your situation and what people will think and how all of those things hold you back, this event with Sarah, I think, can really help you get some new perspective. So that's going to be live in Jacksonville at the Wilder Business Success Office. However, let me figure out some logistics. I might be able to make that a hybrid event so the rest of you can enjoy it, or I might also be able to get a recording of that. So I will work on that and see what I can do. So I liked what you brought up, Mike, about the what will people think about me thought.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like personally, I didn't see that one like as obvious. I knew I was like procrastinating. I knew I was being like over perfectionistic about things, but this, what will people think about me, one really came up when I started doing more social media videos and talking about myself. So, why don't we talk a little bit more about this limiting belief? I know that you're putting yourself out there a little bit more. So, what are kind of some of the ways that you have been um, proving this belief false to overcome it? Like, what benefits are you seeing from stepping outside of the comfort zone and giving it a try anyway?
Well, I feel like what I'm noticing is like that's where my future lies, you know, like the rest of my life. Because in my comfort zone, I already know what to expect. It's predictable, you know. But the more I step outside of the things that I'm comfortable doing, the more I'm realizing that I am completely capable of doing things that I had never thought I was capable of doing before. Um, and like even doing like these live streams and stuff, I've never done live streams or anything before, and the idea of it gives you like, you know, social anxiety and stuff. You're like, what do I do? What do I say? You know, am I going to be able to even do this? But it's really just like pushing yourself to be uncomfortable as much as possible. It's I don't know. I feel like I need to build a relationship like that, like almost find the discomfort as like some type of thrill, some like adrenaline rush, you know, to make me want to do it more, because like then it's consistent growth, and it's all experience too. Like we live one time, so it's like we can sit here and not experience things, or we can try to live our lives to the fullest, and that starts with being vulnerable and removing the limits from yourself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that can be really intimidating and scary to try and take on yourself. That's
Yeah.
what I've found personally. Like I feel almost so resentful sometimes, I guess I have in my past, that I'm, maybe I was in a band, but like I was spending the time figuring this out. And then if I would talk to somebody, they're just like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I know, I'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
Mm.
Um, so one of the things that you guys don't know on the back end before this live stream came up, Mike and I have been meeting on Wednesdays at this time for I don't know how many weeks, like, or months, really.
A lot of months, almost a
A
year.
lot of months. And we've really been working up to this. I mean, we've have conversations every week about this kind of stuff. What problems are musicians having? What problems are we having? And how can we look at it from a different perspective? How can we get around this?
Right.
And a lot of times it is just kind of getting out of your own head for a second and talking to the right people that aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, that's a problem. That sucks. Don't know what you're going to do about it. Let's complain some more. Like, those conversations are not helpful.
Right.
But, Mike and I have kind of been practicing. We've been on Zoom together. We've been having these conversations. When we get started, we just kind of like roll back and forth. And it's like, yeah, now we just need to do the same thing that we do. We just have to hit a couple more buttons. And and now like we can welcome more people into the conversation and
Right.
help more than just the two of us,
Mm.
which is the benefit of having community, because working through these beliefs that hold us back and the sabotaging behavior, you can be stuck in that for a really long time if you don't have other people that are visionaries, other people that are trying to accomplish something bigger around you, showing what you could also be capable of doing.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like we need to use people like that as an anchor, because sometimes like it feels like we're spinning out of control, but like if there's that one person that that is in our circle that's like, hey, I got you. It's not that bad. You're just thinking about it completely differently. Look at it from this perspective. So I feel like so many people need that. Just at least one person to sit there and be like, no, you're not crazy. You're just looking at it differently. That would be super beneficial. But they exist. It's all about putting yourself out there and connecting with people like Heidi and me and finding like-minded individuals that can help you through these issues.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to be alone. And so, that was one of my like limiting beliefs, that I just felt limited for a long time. I felt like there was nobody that could help me, that I had to figure it out all on my own. And I really wasn't tapped into community at all.
Right.
And so community is just an absolute game changer. It's going to take what you're already doing and then times 10 the results.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes the journey to where you're going so much more enjoyable. It's not about like, oh, I'm going to get there and I'm going to get to this big goal. A lot of people work and work and work and work to get to this point, and they get there. They're standing on that stage, like in Wembley or whatever. And then they're like, but I still feel like I'm missing something.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're creating this journey for yourself, make sure that you're in the moment now, and that you're enjoying the people around you, and you're enjoying life along the way. I think that goes back to the original point when I was talking about Camille. That's great nourishment for your mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that I'm still working on too. Absolutely.
Yes. And working on, um, that's really all you're doing with your limiting beliefs. There are things, thought processes that you've set up over the years. And if you haven't been aware of some of these thoughts that you have and how they're holding you back, then they're going to continue to sabotage you in the future.
Yeah.
So by taking the time to put in the work and to stop while you're in mid thought and say, oh, I believe I can't play guitar because I keep telling myself that I suck. And so when I tell myself that, I don't want to sit down and practice, because when I hear myself practicing, it just reinforces that thought that I'm like sucky at guitar. When instead I could be looking at it like, yeah, everybody is bad when they start. This is
Yeah.
just you putting in your dues. It's going to be over as long as I just keep practicing.
Definitely. Yep.
And so it works the same way with how you think. You're going to catch yourself like having that same like thought, oh, I'm shitty at guitar. No. You're going to you're going to stop in that moment. You're going to go, "Wait a minute. I don't believe that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I'm a beginner and I'm right in this moment where I should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a great guitar player because I'm consistent and I continue to practice."
Yes.
And if you focus on being consistent and practicing rather on like how bad you are, it's going to be more likely that you're actually going to practice.
Yep. I feel like you can't lose that way.
Right. Okay, so that was really cool. We got to the end of our half hour so quickly. I want to mention that we do have a mastermind that we meet every week. And if you want to have more conversations like this with a tight knit group of musicians to really blast through what limits you, as well as all of the social media stuff and technology stuff that we have to wade through, um, go to hellisthebomb.com/music community and click the button there to learn more about what we're doing. Fill out an application and meet with me, and I'll be happy to fill in any details and see if it's a good fit for you. So until next week, Wednesday at 10:30, we can sign off. You have any last words, Mike?
I do not. Just look forward to seeing you guys again next week.
All right, cool. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.